Caleb Lyde, UL Mark of Excellence. Let's head down now for the presentation of the HSBC Sydney Sevens.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Rugby Australia, we hope you've enjoyed the running rugby and the entertainment throughout the 2019 HSBC Sydney Sevens. We've seen 34 exciting women's matches across the weekend, culminating with New Zealand and Australia battling it out for the Cup final for the title of 2019 HSBC Sydney Sevens champions. Would you please join me in welcoming our official party, Jessica Power, Head of Retail Banking and Wealth Management, HSBC Australia, Brett Robinson, World Rugby Council and Exco member.
Are you serious? Is this the fastest you can go? Get out of here. Internet speed with Telecom PNG. I repeat, Telecom PNG is the fastest. The fastest here in PNG. So connect today to experience the difference. Telecom PNG, always there.
This news program is proudly brought to you by Paradise Foods and Paradise Beverages.
PNG Think Tank launched. Support for police housing on Bougainville. And Capital Rugby Union ready for season proper.
This is National EMTV News with Meriba Tulo.
A very good evening. Thank you for joining us. This is Sunday's news. A reception was held last night in Port Moresby to launch the Papua New Guinea Think Tank Group. The organization was formed in 2018 by some of Papua New Guinea's professional working class men and women and plans to start operations this year.
Prime Minister Peter O'Neill was expected to launch the Think Tank Group last night. However, ICT and Energy Minister Sam Basil stood in his place.
The PNG Think Tank Incorporated of Papua New Guinea.
The organization will be headed by Sir Nagura Bogen, former IRC Commissioner and Ambassador to the United States. The organization is yet to produce a 2019-year plan, and with the estimated budget of 400,000 kina, most of it will go to securing an office space and hiring a chief executive officer. Papua New Guinea Think Tank Group Board Secretary Samson Komati said the aim of the organization is to be the country's gatekeepers.
Think Tank Group as a group, we can help influence government policy and government legislations, which individually you can't do it. In this country, individually, we can only complain on Facebook and yell and talk and shout and pray forever. But as a group with 1,000 members, 5,000 members, 500,000, or even 1 million membership, who are legally members that pay registration fees and are committed to a group, we can then speak one voice and we can influence the government.
ICT and Energy Minister Sam Basil said the organization reminded him of the Bully Beef Club that was a former runner to the Panguk Party that took the lead in its coalition partners against all odds to establish PNG as a sovereign state in 1975. Basil says PNG's population then was around 2 million, with only few educated people, but despite that, the then elite managed to pull off self-governance and then independence.
I note that PNG Think Tank vision is an abstract from the PNG 2050 vision to secure Papua New Guinea, where everyone is healthy, wealthy, secure, wise and peaceful.
Michelle Stephen, National EMTV News.
The court case involving the halt of police investigations into the manufacturing of illegal cigarettes in Port Moresby has been set for Friday, the 8th of February. Last week, when the case was called at the Waigani Committal Courts, the police prosecutor told the court he had no instructions from the Police Legal Division to mention the matter. As a result, Committal Court Magistrate Cosmas Bidar adjourned the matter for a week.
This court case involves what has been described as the manufacturing of illegal cigarettes at a warehouse in Port Moresby. Following a police raid last month, a large amount of counterfeit cigarettes were uncovered at Kennedy Estate at 8 Mile. However, the Chinese company Golden Boral Limited has obtained a court order to prevent police from conducting further investigations into this.
Some of these illegal cigarettes is seized by the National Drug and Wine Squad with the assistance of the mobile squad.
Last week, PNG Customs came out defending the Chinese company, saying its operations were legal.
For the last 8 years. The company has complied with customs regulations. We've issued them customs license to operate. They've been importing, and only this year they intend to go into manufacturing. And they've approached customs, and we've given them license to operate as a business. Unfortunately, what has happened is something that we were not aware of, and we were only told. The officers were only told, since it was a customs control area, our officers were allowed to go in to open the premises for them to have a look at what is in there.
However, the Immigration and Border Security has issued deportation orders for the 17 Chinese to leave the country. The deportation orders were given to the 4 Chinese that are currently in Port Moresby, while the other 14 that are out of the country, copies of their orders will be given to them through their employer. Meanwhile, the case that is before the Waigani Committal Courts is based on the court order that was sought by the Chinese company, preventing police from further investigations. Thekla Gunga, National MTV News.
1,000 menstrual hygiene kits are being made by Kokoda villagers to provide sustainable sanitary products for women and girls across the region. With the support of the Australian Government's Kokoda initiative, the Safe Mary Moon project involves basic sewing training and the production of 500 kits each by Network Kokoda in Sogeri and the Adventist Development and Relief Agency at Kokoda Station. Sewing trainer and facilitator Nina Boydell said the project aims to assist women and girls in Papua New Guinea to better manage menstruation with dignity by supplying free reusable sanitary products to women in remote communities. She said the kits are easy to make and require only basic sewing skills. They can be hand-sewn or sewn on a simple electric sewing machine. The kits are due to be distributed next month and include reusable sanitary pads, soap, a plastic bag, a washcloth and underwear in a cotton carry bag with information on menstruation and family planning. The informal sector youth group in Port Moresby is ready to begin operations with logistical support from Pacific Corporate Security. The group was formed in 1997 to assist police at 6 Mile to stop petty crime and violence. Under NCD Governor Poes Pakop's NCDC Bus Stop Warden project, the youth will commence operations at bus stops throughout Port Moresby. PCS Managing Director Jacob Kauper says being part of the youth group has made him to feel responsible and thus assisting the group to carry out its NCDC Bus Stop Warden project.
In our capacity, Pacific Corporate Security has been a very integral part of the NCD informal youth sector. So we support them and we like to encourage them that be good people, good citizens, and out of this we can also convert other youths to join them, and then together we can work to give our support Yumi Lookout in Moresby.
You're with Sunday's News on MTV. We go for a break and be back with more of the day's stories after these messages. Stay tuned.
Original, classy and elegant is our winning combination. At Queen Emma Chocolate, we are passionate about creating PNG's very own chocolate from locally grown cocoa, That is why, from bean to bar, we ensure the quality is at the core of our products. PNG's very own chocolate, perfect for any occasion. Share the taste of success with Queen Emma chocolate.
At Colgate, we believe every child has the right to a healthy, bright smile. We educate children through Colgate's Bright Smiles, Bright Futures program by providing children, teachers, and families with the tools to make good oral health a lifelong habit. Each year, Colgate reaches over 450,000 children in PNG with this program. We are dedicated to turning the bright smiles of today into the bright futures of tomorrow. Together, let's keep PNG smiling.
Are you serious? Is this the fastest you can go? Get out of here. Internet speed with Telecom PNG. I repeat, Telecom PNG is the fastest. The fastest here in PNG. So connect today to experience the difference. Telecom PNG, always there.
Are you looking for something to chew?
Yes, I am. But it's more difficult to find something to chew.
Not if you're so picky.
Me no kai kai boy, me kai kai PK taso.
In our harsh and vibrant landscape, Dulux Weather Shield is the perfect choice to protect your building against everything Mother Nature throws at it. Worth doing, worth Dulux.
On Olsem 1M, Monday at 7 p.m.
We now take you to Collingwood Bay in Tufi, Oro Province.
Logging operations at Waningla, which is close to where we are, and that is a threat to us.
If they have taken that issue about illegal logging to court for the last 20 years, that's an indication.
Traditional land should never be sold. The Lands Department has a terrible track record of protecting land.
On Olsem 1M, Monday, 7 p.m. Welcome back to National MTV News. Police have arrested a woman in Port Moresby for murder. The suspect, Susan Auri, was apprehended and locked up at the Boroko police station last week. Police allege that Auri raised a series of security concerns on that. However, Baki said Goroka is a better choice. 3 mobile squads will be sent to Goroka to assist in police preparations and provide escort during the recount. The decision to hold the recount outside of Kundiawa is a national court decision. Kikori District Hospital has received much-needed funding of 1 million kina from the local member Soroi Airware. Managers of the hospital, Gulf Christian Services, said the funding will be used for a major facelift of the hospital's facilities.
The Gulf of Papua New Guinea is a delta swamp with very limited infrastructure. Kikori District Hospital is located in the township of Kikori and gives health services to over 40,000 people. However, for many years, the hospital facilities have deteriorated.
It's a major repair. Since it's been built, nothing has been done. Because we get the operational grants, but that's not enough to do things that we've been maintaining slowly, small things. Whatever we can do, we are maintaining it, but the major ones we can't do it. Like tanks, it's Southern Cross, so inside is all rusted, and we're finding it really hard to replace them.
With the much-needed funding of 1 million kina, Gulf Christian Services, a non-government organization which operates in the Gulf Province, will work towards improving the infrastructure of the Kikori District Hospital.
To Kikori Hospital and seeing the very big need there. There's a very big need for infrastructure development, and for our water tanks are really rusted and they need repair. So this is what the money will be used for at Kikori. What we see is Kikori is a hospital that has very big needs. There's so many patients at the hospital, and they're doing a really big work.
Gulf Christian Services manages 2 hospitals in the province, which are Kapuna and
Or they are treated and then they'll go back.
Kikori MP Soroy Eowe knows the much-needed funding will be put to good use.
And we have to have best organization, best people to deliver that. We have a big challenge, looking at opening up airports. We are looking at building jetties.
I'll make sure as a secretary for the agency, the report will come, not one penny will go down the drain, it will come straight to you.
Lillian Sopera Kinea, National MTV News.
Turning overseas now, it is the first time a Roman Catholic Pope has ever visited the Arabian Peninsula. The Vatican wants more freedom for the region's Christians, and this will be a chance to discuss that with Muslim leaders.
A message to the faithful ahead of his historic trip to the Arabian Peninsula, the birthplace of Islam, and home of some of its holiest sites, attracting millions of pilgrims each year. But the Gulf also has a Christian past.
We have evidence of Christianity in eastern Arabia, including the UAE and Oman, certainly well into the 8th, 9th centuries AD.
Abu Dhabi itself is home to the ruins of an ancient monastery built around 600 AD, fragments of which can be found at the Louvre, Abu Dhabi.
It was founded by a denomination called the Church of the East, which is one of the Eastern churches. It still survives, so the visit by the Pope actually has a local resonance in that there is a tradition here of Christianity that is still related today to the Catholic Church.
Helia says history suggests that local followers of that church converted to Islam, but it didn't mark the end of the Christian presence on the Arabian Peninsula. While Islam is the official religion of Gulf states and leaving Islam is illegal, in the UAE alone it's believed there are over 1 million Christians, the majority of whom are Catholic migrant workers.
You can't be a trading nation on the shores of a great maritime trade route without learning to develop some kind of tolerance and understanding and acceptance.
A champion of interfaith dialogue, Pope Francis will meet with the Grand Imam of Egypt's Al-Azhar Mosque in Abu Dhabi during his trip, a cleric regarded as the highest authority in Sunni Islam.
UAE is already a role model of a sort. It's a trendsetter for the whole region. Whatever the UAE does, others follow.
The UAE is using this visit to shine a spotlight on its carefully cultivated image of tolerance on a world stage, while maintaining a more muscular foreign policy. The UAE's version of tolerance stands in contrast to neighbouring Saudi Arabia, where churches are illegal and non-Muslims can't worship in public.
And tolerance these days are in short supply, not only in this very troubled region, but all over the world. There's short supply in Europe, in America, wherever you go. So the UAE wants to be a leading global force for tolerance. And I think that's the kind of legacy that we're hoping that the Pope's visit will leave us.
Yeah, with National MTV News this Sunday, we'll have more stories when we come back. Stay tuned.
Original, classy and elegant is our winning combination. At Queen Emma Chocolate, we are passionate about creating PNG's very own chocolate from locally grown cocoa. That is why, from bean to bar, we ensure the quality is at the core of our products. PNG's very own chocolate, perfect for any occasion. Share the taste of success with Queen Emma Chocolate.
As PNG's only ISO-accredited bulk haulage operator, IPI Transport guarantees the delivery of your critical cargo. Equipped with state-of-the-art GPS tracking systems and backed by an experienced team, you can rely on IPI Transport, part of the IPI group of companies.
I love the way you taste.
I love the easy meal.
I love family dinner time.
I love my true guy.
I love the quality.
I love the yummy smell.
I love the energy and strength.
I love my true kind. So many reasons, all of us agreeing. So put on your t-shirts and let's all sing.
I love my true kind.
I love my true kind. Let's sing it again. I love my true kind. I love my true kind. I love my true kind. PNG's rice, the very best rice. Let's get your love of true kind.
Next Wednesday on Marvel Runaways.
Your baby's young. Was he supposed to do that?
Frank gets healing gloves from Jonah, causing Leslie to become suspicious.
What's happening?
Why did Jonah give you those?
He and I had a lovely chat about it.
Nico forces Alex to reveal how he knew Tina's password.
Don't tell me some bullshit that her password was password.
Marvel Runaways. Next Wednesday, 9 p.m. right here on your number one to watch, MTV.
Welcome back to the news. In a tit-for-tat move, Russia says it's suspending its participation in a nuclear missile treaty with the United States after Washington said yesterday it was walking away from the pact. President Vladimir Putin said Russia will stop observing the Cold War-era treaty, inked in 1987, to hold nuclear ambitions in check, and that Russia would now start developing nuclear weapons.
Vladimir Putin and his ministers sent a clear message to Washington over the INF Treaty. You intend to pull out, do you? Well, two can play at that game.
Our response will be symmetrical. Our US partners announced that they are suspending their participation in the INF Treaty. So we are suspending it too.
And there was more. Moscow, President Putin said, would develop new weapons, including a land-based version of this cruise missile, and missiles more than 5 times the speed of sound. It's a far cry from US-Russian cooperation 3 decades ago, when Presidents Reagan and Gorbachev signed the INF Treaty. It eliminated a whole class of short and medium-range missiles and became a cornerstone of European security. But the chill in relations is palpable. It's beginning to feel like the Cold War is back.
President Putin said the one thing he didn't want was Russia being dragged into a costly new arms race. But with both America and Russia now having suspended the INF Treaty, that is a huge blow to East-West arms control.
The INF Treaty is breaking apart, and America blames Russia.
Russia has jeopardized the United States' security interest, and we can no longer be restricted by the treaty while Russia shamelessly violates it.
America says these Russian missiles violated the INF Treaty. Moscow denies it and claims Washington broke the agreement. A high-stakes blame game for the two biggest nuclear powers.
The political momentum of Venezuela's opposition swelled on Saturday with street protesters in Caracas, while President Nicolas Maduro stood defiant in the face of domestic and international pressure against his rule. But Maduro's opposition grew further with massive demonstrations and the reported defections of a top military official and the first Venezuelan ambassador.
Leaders, two crowds battling for the future of Venezuela. On one side, the Venezuelan opposition rallying around its leader, Juan Guaidó, the young president of the National Assembly who swore himself in as acting president of Venezuela on January 23. People gathered from the early hours of the morning to wait for Guaidó's speech, many just hoping for an end to the country's years-long downward spiral. Over the last few years, Venezuela's economy has collapsed, and its people have been unable to put their hands on the basics, such as food and medicine.
I hope we end this right now. I hope we have a free country. I hope we start living our lives past this nightmare, past this infernal situation we're in right now.
There is a new momentum behind the Venezuelan opposition after Nicolas Maduro began the second presidential term that many consider illegitimate here and abroad.
A lot of geopolitics at stake here in Venezuela. We have seen the negotiations going on. We have heard that both Russia, China are on Maduro's side and the White House, the rest of the international community on the opposition side. But today here in Caracas is the turn of the street.
When Juan Guaidó finally arrived at the rally, an avenue full of enthusiastic supporters welcomes him. On stage, the young leader outlined his plan to put an end to the humanitarian crisis that is bringing Venezuela to its knees.
We are also announcing to the people of Venezuela that we already have 3 collection points for humanitarian aid. The first point, Cúcuta, Colombia, that will be the first collection point of humanitarian aid. And there will be 2 more, which we will announce precisely where they will be in the upcoming days.
On the other side of the city, another rallying cry from the old leader.
I'm the president of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela, and I owe myself to everyone, not just to some of them. I owe myself to all of Venezuela.
Nicolas Maduro, standing firm, calls for fresh parliamentary elections that mean dismantling the National Assembly led by Guaidó.
I am in agreement with rectifying the legislative power of the nation and going forward with free elections in the nation with guarantees, and for the people to decide on a new National Assembly.
A proposal cheered by Maduro's supporters, wary of the international interest towards Venezuela.
We are telling those Yankee lovers, don't you dare do anything here.
2 crowds, 2 leaders. Today, simply not able to speak to each other.
This week in Australia marks 10 years since the Black Saturday bushfires, the deadliest in Australian history. 173 people died in fires that burned in central and eastern Victoria, leading to a royal commission and a complete overhaul of the state's emergency response. Soon after the fires, a team of filmmakers heard the raw first-hand stories of people who saw the worst of Black Saturday and survived. In the lead-up to the anniversary, the producers reconnected with those survivors to find out what recovery looks like a decade on.
10 years after Black Saturday, Glenn Fisk is still Marysville's CFA captain. On that day, he lost his house, his wife Liz, and his youngest son Dalton. Now, talking to new volunteers about what happened on Black Saturday has helped him to cope with the loss.
We're not fragile, and we're more than willing to give our experiences. Don't be afraid to talk to us, because it's important for us to be able to talk to everybody as well to keep us going.
It was the fire you couldn't fight. Everything was on fire, wasn't it, Glenn?
John Munday was also a CFA captain on Black Saturday. His crew were forced to take refuge at the Marysville Oval when the fire became too intense to fight.
It was just an endless procession of pager messages, pleading, begging us to help, and we could do nothing.
The criticism and media coverage that followed led John to a breakdown.
The Floudale fire station was graffitied with horrible graffiti blaming the volunteers for what had happened, and it was so unfair because so many of the volunteers had given absolutely everything of themselves on that day, laid their lives on the line. I just imploded. I just couldn't do it anymore.
Meanwhile, Glenn Fisk began rebuilding a home for his 2 surviving kids.
I was committed right from the start that we were going to rebuild and rebuild back on the same site. It was during that early rebuild phase that Kerry and I started to see each other.
My house burnt down along with everyone else's. It was very hard times to go through all that rubble and try and find anything that was left.
I meet people for the first time, and when I tell them our story, I get a shocked reaction, and I've got to say to them, well, that's our story now. Losing Liz and Dalton is part of who we are today.
Alpacas! Hey! Alpacas!
Many relationships crumbled in the years after Black Saturday. John Munday's was one, so was Kath Scott's. When they formed a new relationship, staying where they were was not an option.
For Kath, it was really important that it wasn't in a high bushfire-prone area.
I can't even go into the bush on a hot day.
If we hadn't had this fire, we wouldn't be together now, and that's a wonderful positive thing that's come out of this fire. Out of the furnace of Black Saturday came the steel, the hardened steel that formed our resolve and our relationship.
We've always felt by talking about Liz and Dalton is how to keep them with us.
For all the stories of recovery, for many, Black Saturday is still just too painful to talk about. But for others, talking has helped them find peace.
While other ancient rituals in Japan are dying out, there is one that is growing more popular by the year. Here are scenes behind an important and visually spectacular religious ritual.
It's a massive effort. Every man aged 25 and 42, known here as the unlucky years, spends days building a shrine to the Dosujin gods who protect this village. It'll all soon come under attack in a fiery confrontation.
They build it, burn it tonight and offer it to the gods. Everybody gets excited when they see fire.
As for why everyone gets into it despite the danger? Because it's fun. For 25-year-old Yohei Oyama, this is an essential rite of passage.
I work in Tokyo and I'm taking time off work again. My company said, "Are you joking?" But I always admired this magnificent festival, so I wanted to take part, even if I had to quit my job.
As night falls, the unlucky men prepare to defend the shrine. But first, they must consume litres of celebratory sake. Blessed by the local priest in a major test of their devotion, they must carry the flames that will be used to attack them through the village. Once they're in a position to mount their defence, the rest of the villagers move in. They charge forward in waves, trying to set the shrine on fire.
It's about 3 degrees here, starting to rain, and it's getting colder, but the combination of the flames and perhaps the generous amounts of sake that have been drunk mean that nobody is feeling the elements.
The ceremony is so popular, the hotels in Nozawa Onsen are booked out well in advance.
This is crazy. This is amazing. It's quite different experience for Western or the Australian people. We thank for the Australian people. They give us a lot of respect for our culture.
The battle continues for 90 minutes before the men climb down and burn the shrine themselves in a final offering to the gods. As it turns to ash, good luck is supposed to come, no doubt along with some battle scars and sore heads the next morning.
Back home now, and the partnership between Papua New Guinea and Australia has seen the completion of 6 new houses built for police officers in the autonomous region of Bougainville. The 3 duplexes, valued at 1.9 million kina, was built through the Justice Services and Stability for Development program.
Thank you. Excellent.
Great job. Thank you for asking. Police Commissioner Gary Baki was present in Buka to officiate at the handing over of the keys to the new houses. The houses are seen as a step forward to improving living conditions for law enforcers and encouraging them to continue their policing roles.
As the constabulary stands to regain its reputation and confidence in the public, I would like to commend the Chief of Bougainville Police Service, Mr. Takura, and his members for their tireless effort in maintaining peace and law and order in the autonomous region of Bougainville. We gathered here today to witness the official handover of the staff houses, and this buildings reflects our strength and determination in building a stronger police service here in Bougainville, and also a move which the constabulary is looking forward to in the coming years. This achievement would not have been possible without the assistance and support from our esteemed partners and friends, especially our colleagues from the Australian government through the Justice Services Sustainable Development, JSS4D.
Representatives from the Australian government say the establishment of these houses are aimed at fostering trust and confidence for those in the autonomous region. Apart from this project, the Australian government continues to support the autonomous Bougainville government in various programs to promote peace and improve living standards in the region.
Has been a committed partner in this process. Through the pre-recruit education program, we've supported the recruitment of 36 young Bougainvillians into the BPS since 2016. We've provided technical support for the development of the BPS Strategic Development Plan and the BPS Coordinating Mechanism. We've supported the construction of accommodation for 11 police officers in Arawa, Buin and Torokina, and are providing ongoing support for the training of BPS officers to investigate and prosecute crimes. This is in addition to broader support the Australian government has provided to the development of Bougainville's law and justice sector. In the past 15 years, we've provided more than 72 million kina to help rebuild and develop Bougainville's law and justice services, including funding to establish the Mabiri Rehabilitation Centre, which began operating last year.
The shortage in police accommodation in all provinces in Papua New Guinea continues to affect the presence of police officers in those districts. And the police commissioner has called on other government partners to assist the constabulary in building accommodation for its men and women throughout the country. Thakla Gunga, National EMTV News.
Here with Sunday's News, we go for a break now. When we come back, we take a look at some sporting action in Trukai Sports.
Original, classy and elegant is our winning combination. At Queen Emma Chocolate, we are passionate about creating PNG's very own chocolate from locally grown cocoa. That is why, from bean to bar, we ensure the quality is at the core of our products. PNG's very own chocolate, perfect for any occasion. Share the taste of success with Queen Emma Chocolate.
Bomb chicka wow wow. Bomb chicka wow wow. Wow wow.
We've improved the formula. New links with added.
Bomb chicka wow wow.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. The Capital Rugby Union in Port Moresby kicked off its pre-season in January. This ended today, with CRU looking forward to another busy season ahead. Fidelis Sukina with the details.
Capital Rugby Union in Port Moresby has been in pre-season mode since January, an early start for the code. Rucks, mauls, scrums and lineouts. A typical Sunday rugby fest. Capital Rugby Union is anticipating national tournaments mid-year, with its players gearing up as early as the third week of January.
Definitely it's something that was discussed at the last CRO meeting last year to have our competition starting off early. Obviously, with what the interim PNG board has plans for this season, with upcoming NPC 7s and NPC 15s happening in April and May respectively, and in that series, all the clubs have agreed to have our pre-season start early.
The thirst of rugby union has been quenched, with numbers turning out to play in the 5 divisions of the competition. Teams are meeting requirements and paying registration fees, with a player list in the pipeline for the competition.
Most of the clubs have already started getting themselves organized and paying the registration fee. We haven't changed from last year. It's I think 2,000 kina for each club. And clubs, CRO is also looking at having a registration list of players, a registered list of players for all the clubs from all divisions.
With a registered list of players in the possession of the competition, CRU can organize for insurance, which is an important component of any organized contact sport.
Obviously, insurance is something that we're also looking at to ensure that we have that covered for the players as well. It's always been struggled in the past where, unfortunately, teams have not been able to provide, details that are required by the insurance companies. So we are also looking to have a fully registered CRU players for this season to ensure that the clubs adhere to that.
The pre-season ended today with the proper season to commence. Fidelis Sukina, National EMTV Sports.
Still on rugby, it's World Cup year as Japan hosts the event later this year. But right now the focus is on Six Nations Rugby, particularly the annual competition for the Northern Hemisphere. 2 countries with serious World Cup aspirations, England and Ireland, came face to face on Saturday.
Now, the last time the Irish lost in this competition at home was 6 years ago, but they were well and truly upstaged here by the English, who ran in 4 tries, including 2 in the closing stages of a right thriller, both from Henry Slade, who was absolutely flying here. The visitors led by 7 points at half-time, but they simply had no answer to Slade's power and pace and great anticipation there. It clearly mattered not to the 25-year-old that this was an Irish team which had recently beaten the world champions New Zealand. Slade's 2 tries ensuring England's recording a famous victory, just their second Six Nations triumph in Ireland's capital since 2003. A highly significant win then for England. In the day's other match, Scotland beating Italy.
And Trukai Sports Action will continue after these messages. Stay tuned.
Trukai Sports.
Original, classy and elegant is our winning combination. At Queen Emma Chocolate, we are passionate about creating PNG's very own chocolate from locally grown cocoa. That is why, from bean to bar, we ensure the quality is at the core of our products. PNG's very own chocolate, perfect for any occasion. Share the taste of success with Queen Emma Chocolate.
At Colgate, we believe every child has the right to a healthy, bright smile. We educate children through Colgate's Bright Smiles, Bright Futures program by providing children, teachers, and families with the tools to make good oral health a lifelong habit. Each year, Colgate reaches over 450,000 children in PNG with this program. We are dedicated to turning the bright smiles of today into the bright futures of tomorrow. Together, let's keep PNG smiling.
As PNG's only ISO-accredited bulk haulage operator, IPI Transport guarantees the delivery of your critical cargo. Equipped with state-of-the-art GPS tracking systems and backed by an experienced team, you can rely on IPI Transport, part of the IPI group of companies.
Next Wednesday on Amazing Race. 16 still remain, and who will be eliminated next on Race 8 of Amazing Race?
All right, driver, very fast.
Teams heading to Harare, the capital city of Zimbabwe.
Kind fabric, so go that way.
Behind the Eastgate Mall, the teams will exchange their outgoing mails to get their next clue. Amazing Race, next Wednesday, 8 p.m. right here on your number one to watch, EMTV.
I love the way you taste. I love the easy meal.
I love family dinner time.
I love my true guy.
I love the quality. I love the yummy smell. I love the energy and strength.
I love my true kind.
So many reasons, all of us agreeing to put on your t-shirts and let's all sing.
I love my true guy.
I love my true guy.
I love my true guy.
Let's sing it again.
I love my true guy. I love my true guy. PNG's rice, the very best rice. Let's get all love a true guy.
Welcome back to Trukai Sports. Still on Rugby Union, after a long 3 days, it was Australia and New Zealand who made it to the women's finals of the HSBC Sydney Sevens. It was a tough match from the start, with New Zealand proving the better side in Sydney. Here are the highlights.
She's got one to be clinging on around the ankles. Looking to get Blythe cutting in on the inside, stepping around the tackle of Pucky, skipping out of another one. Michaela Blythe's got Politi coming across, and then Quirk and cover in front of Simpkins. The ball's gone backward. She waited and checked, thought she'd knocked it on. Walker on the outside. Stacey Walker's going to draw first blood for New Zealand. Quirk, New Zealand trying to rush up, and they've been able to manipulate and overlap. Here's Politi trying to get around the outside of Walker. She's got support inside. Walker comes back at Politi. Good tackle. Ball bundled into touch with 4 or 5 players. Into the final minute of the final now. Sykes has done everything, and now she's thrown a poor ball that Williams read beautifully. Fitzpatrick, they might fancy themselves here. Another New Zealand. Broughton's got Blythe outside her, and Michaela Blythe will go in for a hat-trick in the final to wrap it up for New Zealand. They're in the hands of these women. The Blackburn Sevens, unstoppable, 34 points to 10. They take the final over Australia. For New Zealand, they gave Australia absolutely no room to breathe. Made the most of every single attacking opportunity that they were given.
Back home into Rugby League and the Hola off-season competition in round 11, the match between Malapin Brothers and West Nest United, there was strong defence and attack from both sides. Malapin Brothers came out stronger in the second half to win 6 points to 0. Godwin Eki with the details.
In the B grade division, it was a tough encounter between the Malipin Brothers and Nest United. As the spectators watched peacefully from the sidelines, it was a different story in the field as both teams struggled to score. With great defence and attack coming from both sides, the first half ended with no try for the two teams. In the second half, Malipin Brothers regrouped, coming back in strong and polished, attacking strong on their defence. But with less than 5 minutes remaining, Malipin Brothers utilised the ball well by passing it on to the winger, who scored the first try for Malipin Brothers. Conversion successful. Final score stood at Malipin Brothers 6, Nest United 0.
There was some good teams.
Senior referee Robin Koivi says next week's tournament will see top 8 teams in both A and B grades play for top 4 positions before the grand final match.
B grades, there's some good teams also in the. It's like considering of Hola Tug Magpies, Talks Mixed Dogs. They have A and B in the top 8 running, and also Hola to like what I said already under the presidency of former Hunter and Hengamioks, Roger Laka. We've seen teams all over from Hola down to Gordons, up to Geru and Wagani.
Godwin Eki, National EMTV Sports.
And that's a wrap for Trukai Sports this evening. We go for a break. When we come back, the weather details for the next 24 hours.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
Original, classy and elegant is our winning combination. At Queen Emma Chocolate, we are passionate about creating PNG's very own chocolate from locally grown cocoa. That is why, from bean to bar, we ensure the quality is at the core of our products. PNG's very own chocolate, perfect for any occasion. Share the taste of success with Queen Emma Chocolate.
As PNG's only ISO-accredited bulk haulage operator, IPI Transport guarantees the delivery of your critical cargo. Equipped with state-of-the-art GPS tracking systems and backed by an experienced team, you can rely on IPI Transport, part of the IPI group of companies.
Are you looking for something to chew?
Yes, I am. But it's more difficult to find something to chew.
Not to feel something.
Me no kai kai boy, me kai kai PK gasa.
Hello everyone and welcome to Good Morning PNG. I'm Taz.
And I'm Shaz. That's right, PNG. For the first time in our history, we are bringing you breakfast television.
Saturday mornings at 6 a.m. Wake up to the latest news, views, sports, weather, entertainment, feature stories, plus much more.
And it won't be just us. We have a team.
Oh yes, Mary Batula from the news team.
Peter Pasal with all the commentary on sports.
Entertainment with Ike Apakop.
And our very own weatherman, Richard Magay.
Oh, I can't wait, Shaz. This is going to be good.
Every Saturday mornings at 6 a.m. See you then.
If you heard of the name Connie Rose, you are not alone.
Look at him! Don't be shy, man. Enjoy. Hey, man, you need a lift?
After much deliberation.
He's a 27-year-old struggling rapper who's adding new titles to his playlist, The Mayor.
Because every day I come to work with one special interest in mind, the people. Anything illegal this year? Yes, I am the mayor, but I cannot pardon people. I check.
The Mayor, Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. right here on your number one to watch, MTV.
In our harsh and vibrant landscape, Dulux Weather Shield is the perfect choice to protect your building against everything Mother Nature throws at it. Worth doing, worth Dulux.
The weather details were proudly brought to you by Dulux, celebrating 50 years in PNG and the only paint made in PNG.
A look at the weather forecast for the next 24 hours in the southern region. Port Moresby, a shower or two. The same as well for Kerma. Windy in Daru with a top of 29 degrees, 31 degrees and showers in Alota. A top of 29 and showers in Popondetta. To the Momase region, rain and showers expected in Wewak and Vanimo with a top temperature of 30 degrees. 30 degrees as well in Madang and a few showers in Ley and Wau. To the New Guinea Islands region, a few showers expected in Kimbe, cloudy periods in Buka, showers and cloudy periods for the next 24 hours in Kokopo and Rabaul, showers and thunderstorms in Kavieng, and a shower or two expected in Lorengau. And to the Highlands region, Mount Hagen, a few showers tonight, Goroka and Kundiawa, a few showers tonight. Mendi and Wabeg can expect cloudy periods with rain drizzles over the next 24 hours, and all these major centers can expect early morning fog to develop. To a look at the forecast for small ships, but first there is a renewal of a strong wind warning. Strong northwesterly surge of 25 to 31 knots are expected to continue for the next 24 hours, causing rough seas and high waves. All small craft and boats to Cape Vogel to Finschhafen, sea 0.5 to 1.3 meters. Waters of Finschhafen through Vitias and Dampier Strait, including Siasi Island to Long Island, sea 0.8 to 1.5 meters. Waters of Manus and its western group of islands, seas 1 to 2 meters. And finally, a look at the ocean forecast for PNG areas. Coral Sea, seas very rough with northwesterly winds at 34 to 48 knots. Solomon Sea, seas slight to moderate with northeast to southwesterly winds at 10 to 20 knots. Bismarck Sea, seas moderate to very rough with west to northwesterly winds at 20 to 34 knots. And the Pacific Ocean, seas slight to moderate with northwesterly winds at 10 to 20 knots.
The weather details were proudly brought to you by Dulux, celebrating 50 years in PNG and the only paint made in PNG.
And that's a news, sport and weather for today, Sunday the 3rd of February 2019. On behalf of the entire EMTV News team right around the country, pleasant viewing. Have a safe working week. Good night.
This news program was proudly brought to you by Paradise Foods and Paradise Beverages.
It's bedtime.
Brush, 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 2 times a day. Brush, brush, brush to keep cavities away. Brush, 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 2 times
Remember
a day.
to brush your teeth before you go to bed. Good night, kids.
Papua New Guinea is home to over 200,000 species of plants and animals. Its forests alone provide habitat for at least 250 species of mammals, 20,000 species of plants, 1,500 species of trees, and 700 species of birds, half of which are unique to the country. With more than 80% of the population living in rural areas, our people rely on the country's densely rich biodiversity for their livelihood. The world's first agriculturalists were Papua New Guineans, and for over 10,000 years, agriculture and the natural resources have supported human survival in this tropical paradise. It is essential that biosecurity measures are put in place to ensure